Good morning senior threes. I'm welcoming you to this lesson of ICT, but it's not called ICT in senior 3. It is called computer studies. And as you see a screen, we are still continuing with the topic, which is introduction to data communication and networking. Remember, I think that is topic 7. But then we are going to discuss and continue moving in with the same topic. And I hope you can see me clearly. I have attached the notes. Please, can you look at the notes which I have attached? I've attached some what I'm going to discuss today. You can look at it, and then we see how we go about it as we continue. I think we are ready to start, and maybe I should ask a question first before I move on. My question is, what is computer? What is computer data communication? That is question number 1, and I have somebody to answer that. What is computer data communication? That is 1. And number 2, what is a computer network? And I have somebody to answer the question. Can we go into the discussion room for somebody to answer? If you can go into the discussion room, and then we hear you answer a question. First question is, what is data communication? Second question is, what is networking? What is a computer network? What is networking? That is the other question I have. And I have some of you enter the discussion room, and then you give us your contribution. Another one should type. Senior 3s, we are in. Senior 3s, computer. Senior 3 computer. Senior 3 computer. Senior 3 computer. I'm in the discussion room. Can I get what is a computer? That's 1. Can you join the discussion room? Can we join the discussion room? Yes, please. I am still having 1 student in the discussion room. Can we join the discussion room? Senior 3s. Okay, maybe let me begin. But again, those questions still stand. We shall get back to the discussion room, and then I'll have questions from you and then we discuss some of the questions. So I'm leaving the discussion room, but we shall get there at the end of the lesson. So today, as you see on the screen, we are still on the same topic. The topic is data, introduction to data communication and networking. It is still the topic we are covering, but then especially here I want to look at, I have attached the notes, but you can take the second clip, which is Senior 3, networking. Our discussion, I'm going to begin with looking at the topic is introduction to data communication and networking. I wanted you to come back and then we see where we can start from. So computer networks, today, it's what we are discussing. And remember that the other week, we discussed a bit of what we are talking about. We talked about the intranet, we talked about the extranet. I prepare answers about intranet. I'll ask you about intranet as I close in with the topic. I'm going to ask you about intranet, extranet, advantages, where do we use the intranet, and then where do we use the extranet. I'm going to ask about those questions, then we see how we go in. So today we are going to look at the advantages of getting connected to the internet. And getting connected to the internet, like today, most of you, because we cannot go into class unless you are connected to the internet. And as such, we begin with access a wealth of information such as news, weather reports, airline schedules. Now we are in class. That is, you're accessing the class through what we are calling the internet. The second one we are looking at shopping goods and services through e-commerce. Today we are looking at people buying goods and services over the internet. And actually, goods, you can buy a car from Japan if you want. You can buy cars. Now we have so many social websites. We have commercial websites. Can you give me some of the commercial websites, please? In the chat room, type very fast. A commercial website which you know, where you can buy goods online. In Uganda, frequently used social website. Can you give me an example of one? I'm waiting for your answers. Can we have those answers very quickly? Senior 3s. You are quiet. Social commercial websites which we are using to buy goods. And some of you, maybe you have used some of them. Amazon, thank you. Yusuf, Amazon is one. What else? In Uganda, particularly in Uganda, where I can send for, maybe I can buy a television. Then I send for that television and they bring it to me here. Give me an example. So somebody has given me here Jumia. What else? We are looking at those commercial websites where people are buying. So that is another advantage. Another advantage of getting connected to the internet is for goods and services. Then which services can we talk about? And who can give me an example of a service in that area? Can we have an example of a service? Let us interact. I want us to be interactive. eBay, that is another website somebody is citing. But now I want services online. Services online. Is it Gigi? Gigi is another commercial website. Jumia, that is good. Magampa de Umar, Chibira, I have seen Gigi. Then eBay, Isota, Patrick. Then I'm asking, what services can we get online? Who can give me an example of a service which we can get online? Here we have seen goods and we have seen some of the sites. Then the service. the service. For example, I'll give you one example of a service. For example, people usually move from one country to another. Now, people, when they're moving from one service, now, it's Bagampade has said education. Yeah, a service like education, people are getting education online. And today, we are learning online. That is good. Somebody has said entertainment. Namaje Sharifa has come up with entertainment. Then we are having transport. When it comes to boarding, you want to buy a ticket, you can buy a ticket online. That is number one. Then you can print your ticket. That one is called an e-ticket. So services such as those, you're having banking services, wonderful, safe border. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you for the contributions. Namuri, banking services. Isota, you have said transport services, then safe border. That is wonderful. That is advantages. We are looking at the advantages. So those are provided. So use of online banking services. Somebody has already taken up that. Then the other one is to do research and take online training courses. Again, somebody has mentioned that. Then we have data transactions. Yusuf, you have mentioned data transactions. Then we are looking at use to download files, software, etc. It may be files. It may depend on the kind of file you are using. Then we have software can be downloaded. We can download educational materials. There is a lot we can download when it comes to, we are looking at the advantages of using the internet. Then storage of important files, Kasozi, that is another service actually. We are going to look at that as another advantage, Kasozi, when it comes to that. We have not mentioned another advantage here. We have advertisement. People use internet to publish information about themselves or their work. Actually, they advertise themselves online, and that is another thing we can talk about. Then food services. Yes, food online, but food is online nowadays. That is another good contribution also. Then for advertisement, people use internet to publish information about themselves and then their work. That is, I've gone through that. Then we can have other advantages used to make cheap internet calls. Some of you know that if you are calling a sister who is outside the country, you are not going to use your money. You are going to use WhatsApp calls. They are cheaper actually than using your money. So that is another thing. Then send and receive email to and from other connected users. But that one depends now. Sending and receiving emails. Now we can have sending and receiving of emails in an organization minus having an internet. We can use Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, in order to get people in. For example, in Chibuli area, we get people in Chibuli, the Chibuli Secondary School, such that we use the internet, so that we use the network to connect from one person to another. Whoever has a computer inside Chibuli can communicate to one another, but we may not be using actually the internet, but we may be using the network. So this one can act in both directions, network and then the internet. Then communicate with others around the world through chat rooms, video conferencing, etc. Like now, I was telling you that we are going to get into the chat room, because I want us to start using the discussion room frequently, such that we hear you talk and then you hear us talk. Because when you look at our discussion room, it is like Zoom. So we want us to start using the discussion room, such that we do what we call maybe video conferencing, then chat room, such that we chat when we are talking about that. So as I'm ending, we shall go into the discussion room. We shall be testing it, and then we see how we can use the chat room. Then the other thing is access sources of entertainment and leisure, such as online games, magazines, vacation planning guides, listening to music. That is entertainment, and it's part of leisure actually. Somebody talked about it as a service. It can be a service when somebody is online, like when you have seen that in Uganda we have some musicians who have staged shows online, and maybe the shows, somebody can pay for the show in order to have the show. That is entertainment. It's a service. Another one may call it a service, but let us outline it as a source of entertainment and leisure. Then the other one we can look at that was advantages. Another advantage, the cloud computing. Somebody was talking about a service, another service. Somebody was talking about service. Then Isota, you were talking about mapping and locational services. I think that is another advantage of internet. Mapping and locational services. Isota, you are right. Today, the other time I think I had traveled and I was looking for a place. Actually, I was going to Katosi, near the lake. So I had to put in directions which are taking me to Katosi. So there is mapping. You can easily access a place the moment you know the name of the place and it is mapped on Google Map, then you can locate such a place. So here we are looking at cloud computing and cloud storage. Maybe some of you have not known what we mean by cloud computing, but I will give you an example. When you are connected, when you connect yourself to WhatsApp app, the WhatsApp app, when you are installing it, it takes you through steps. There is where it reaches a step when it tells you back up your data. It asks you for your email address. When you give it your email address, that means you are going to save your data in Google Drive. Google Drive is in the cloud. We call it cloud computing. And because it's in the cloud, you are going to save your information or data there. When? It depends on you. Some of you, when actually installation of WhatsApp, when you are asked backup data frequently, when they ask you, some of you say never. Never is suicide. Because, why is it suicide? Because when your phone is stolen, you cannot recover your contacts, you cannot recover your pictures, you cannot recover your data. It is very good that during the installation of that WhatsApp app, please always maybe put it on 2 weeks or 1 week. 1 week, you back up your data. Why are you backing up your data? You are backing up your data in the cloud, such that if somebody takes any of your gadgets, you can access the cloud and then get or recover the information. So that is another good advantage of what we are calling the internet. The other thing is, internet is accessible 24/7. If you want to use it, you can access it 24/7. If you want services over the internet, you can access it 24/7. It is always on. At times we say 24/7, then we say 365 days a year. You can access the internet as and when you want it. That is another advantage we can talk about. Then the other one we can talk about is use of search engines like Yahoo, Google can help you get what you want. A lot of information. We have e-libraries over the internet. We have Wikipedia, where we have wealth of information. So the use of search engines can help us to get the information we want over the internet. So it's another advantage of the resource which we are calling the internet, the advantages of the internet. So here we look at the disadvantages. The disadvantages, some of you are in them now. What are some of the disadvantages? Very quickly. I have displayed one. Let us look at some of the disadvantages. Can we suggest some of the disadvantages? What are the disadvantages of the internet? Very quickly. Disadvantages. Here I'm looking at addiction. That is time waster. Causes distraction. If any person is spending much time on the internet connected devices, he can be addicted to the internet. And that is very, very common with you students these days. You have been given data by your parents to access the internet, but some of you are accessing the internet and you are wasting a lot of time there. Actually, some of you are just timing when your parents are coming back. You start doing all the house chores because you know that dad or mom is coming back. So you waste a lot of time. Then Yusuf, you have said cyberbullying. That is very common nowadays, and it's not even cyberbullying. Yes, it is one of the problems we are finding, that people are, you are bullying somebody over the internet. It goes on. You find people even abusing others on the internet. Actually, it may be, for example, some of you have WhatsApp groups. At times somebody contributes and somebody abuses that person. That is another problem. So, Kasule, you are saying attacks from computer viruses. That is very, very good. Yes, when you go to the internet, know that you are going to live with viruses. And that is another big problem which is associated with the computer. Then, Mutiaba, it sometimes spoils our children. How? Mutiaba, I didn't know that you have children. Mutiaba, you said it sometimes spoils our children. How? Because when you leave it as that, we cannot give you a mark. How is it spoiling? Then, Kasozi Tendo, you are saying exposure, explicit results. That is another good one. So, let us look at them. Addiction, time wasting. You know, you may be exposed to the internet, but it has a wealth of information. Somebody may be chatting. Some of you sleep deep in the night because you are on the internet doing what? Chatting. Please stop chatting deep in the night. Always have enough sleep such that you prepare for the next day. Number 2, bullying. Bullying. When we look at bullying, a person uses the internet very frequently, can face abusive or trolls people. Another issue is cyberbullying is also increasing rapidly over the years. This cyberbullying now, when you look at it, there is bullying by your fellow peers. There is bullying by those people who access information. At times, they do cyberbullying in order to attack you in any fashion. That can be another problem. So, that is cyberbullying. Then, number 3, we look at spam and advertising. When we talk about spam, actually, I'm getting to this because as I go in, I'll be explaining a bit of spam within the email. When you get what we call unsolicited emails, you get emails into your box. We call them unsolicited. You don't know from the source they are coming from. You don't know the addresses. You have never given these people your address, your email address, but they send frequent messages. Others actually monitor your movement. Some of you are always on the internet. So you are they ask you for the password, you provide. They ask you for your email, you provide. Those ones, they tend to go on giving you emails. Sending emails into your mail. These ones, we call them unsolicited emails. And in the end, at times, they are very dangerous. They may be attached with viruses. And then advertising. Then, the internet is the best place to advertise any service or product as compared to traditional advertising methods. But then, during the advertising, we provide our emails. When we provide our emails, they become a problem to us as we are receiving what we call spam mails. So, Isota was saying sharing wrong information. That is another thing. Yes, people get information and then store. Now, I'm getting back to Mutiaba. Mutiaba, Chinele, you said it sometimes spoils our children. Now, pornographic and violent images. Actually, some of you learn from the internet. At times, we don't want to tell you. When you look at television, there are some channels where you find students watching wrestling. When you look at wrestling, yes, some may watch it as leisure. But another one you will find is sort of watching it to copy whatever is happening. So after watching, Isota is going to try it on his sister, such that he finds out, is it working? You have seen people sending actually information over the line, trying to imitate what people are doing. It is very dangerous. So, accordingly, users can see pornographic or violent images that they may not want to see while using sites. At times, when you are surfing, you can see an image coming up. At times, some of you follow the image. When you follow the image, you end up going into what we call pornographic pictures and sites, actually it becomes very bad. And that one is one of the disadvantages of the internet, because those people who are trying to advertise their sites through pornography, they tend to send adverts and pop-up messages such that you get you follow the lead, such that you end up going into pornography, and that is a very bad sites which come onto the internet. So it becomes a very big disadvantage. Number 5, being able to disconnect from work. For instance, you have received an important work-related email while you may be at home, and then without getting paid, end up working on the content for the email. Here I'm talking about that you have seen some of your dads, leave alone this period when some of them are working from home. Actually, some of your dads are working from home up to now. But when it was normal that they are working in office, they expect some of those in marketing, they expect you, the moment you see an email, maybe on your phone, you are supposed to answer that email. And when you look at that, some of the companies don't pay for that work. They usually pay you when you are at office. But even at home, you end up working. Actually, it irritates most of our moms when our dads are working from home, or our dads when our moms are working from home. It is a disadvantage. Identity theft, hacking, viruses, and cheating. There are malicious users and computer hackers that can steal your personal information and hack accounts, which can be used for identity theft and can be harmful to you personally. You have seen an example. I'm going to take an example, but this example is because we are online. Online how? Use of phones. Use of phones. These phones are interconnected, by the way. That is number 1. Because they are interconnected, you have seen it was Sheikh Bossa. They disguised as workers of Airtel. They called him. When they called him, they had sent a code on his phone. But the code, they were telling him to read the code for them. When actually they monitored that he had money on the phone. He had over 5 million shillings. So after monitoring that he had over 5 million shillings, they sent him a code. Which code? They knew what the code could do. They told him to read the code. When he read the code, all the money was taken. 5 million shillings. Some of you saw the what? He recorded a message, and then the message went around. Actually, they netted the thieves. But these thieves are working online. But now, why are the thieves netting us? Because they are using information provided to us. When somebody is asking you information, and that person you don't know, and he's asking you too much information about maybe the password for your mobile money account, please don't give such people information. Don't give these people information, because in the end, these people want to steal and take your money. So it is very dangerous. Then the other aspect I can talk about is health issues and obesity. If you are surfing the internet frequently, playing games, and spending too much time on the computer, it can also lead to obesity and unhealthy lifestyle, because you are not doing exercises. You are ever on the internet. You don't want to go out. You want to sleep. When you finish eating, you go and lie on your bed. You start surfing. No exercise, no whatever. So you start becoming fat, and in the end, you find that you are having a big belly. You are becoming fat. The size is becoming extra. So that can be another health issue. Then another disadvantage you can look at, there is this depression, loneliness, and social isolation. Actually, some of the people you have found on the internet, they feel at times they end up feeling that they're isolated. Nobody likes them, nobody wants them. Actually, some of them end up killing themselves. But it is the cause of the internet. Depression, loneliness, self-isolation, every time you are on the phone. So the phone is your brother, is your sister, is your mom, is your whatever. So you end up having that loneliness and depression, which may be a problem to people, and people may end up killing themselves because of that. Then, yes, Bosai was saying that, teacher, our phone calls end-to-end encrypted. Yes, they may be encrypted, but again, somebody who wants to make, somebody who is a thief, actually what you have to realize is that people make software, hacking software. And the hacking software, there is software which monitors when you don't know. That is number one. Yes, end-to-end encryption, I will not refuse that. They stole banks the other time. Don't you think that banks had to end-to-end encryption? Actually, the encryption is even tighter. But the thieves maneuvered through mobile banking. They started stealing they started stealing money from accounts of people from the bank. But they are using actual mobile money. And you are saying that your phones have to end-to-end encryption. So they are using the same methodology. Then Yusuf, you say it leads to eye disorders. Yes, that is another disadvantage. Number 9, we are looking at not a safe place for children. The internet may not be more useful to children as they are spending much time on the internet. Actually, what happened? There is a story. There is a story about a dad and mom. Now, they connected their house to the internet. Because they connected their house to the internet, there were 3 in the house. The boy was around 8 years old. And they thought the boy was online learning. So they had to get an internet service provider. They connected internet onto their premises. Now, initially they were using internet, and their internet was the usage was very low. But after some time, they monitored that the internet was getting over so fast. The mama and dad talked. And then they say, can we meet the service provider? And then we air out our grievance about how is our internet being consumed. The mama and dad went to the internet service provider. They told the internet service provider, we are getting a problem. Which problem? Our internet is overconsumed. Is there any other person who is getting to our network? So the network service provider went into his data. He told them it is the mom, the dad, and then the son who is accessing internet. But then the dad asked, what is consuming the data so fast? Then the internet service provider told them, these are our website, because you can view logs and then see actually which website somebody is accessing. When the logs were viewed, this boy was accessing pornographic sites. So they told the dad and mom, you are accessing pornographic sites. They looked at each other because none of them was accessing the pornographic sites. So who was accessing? The little boy at home. So when they went back home, they asked the boy, are you accessing pornographic sites? At first, the boy was very tense, but he gave in and told them, yes, ma'am. They asked him, how did you go about? How did you learn how to access them? Then the boy said, ma'am, when I was studying, then a pop-up menu came. It was about pornography. When I clicked, it gave me a lead. When it gave me a lead, I started watching every day. So the boy became addicted. It was not safe for him, and so it became unethical. So it is not a safe place for our children. You had that there. Viruses and malware, we talked about them. I'm going through that. We talked about them. Review questions. Can you take note of these questions? Because next week I think I'm going to give you an exercise. It is going to be online. You are going to answer that exercise. You are going to be marked there and then you submit your work. The moment you submit, then you are going to be graded and then you are going to get the marks. So I want you to take down those questions. You'll be answering those questions. I think I've sent you the clip. Answer those questions. How can the internet be useful in the area of education? Now those questions come, and when they come, they specify the area. Application area, now it's education. Another question can come in, and then application area, it is health. Another one can come in, application area is transport. Another one can come in, application area may be weather. Another one can come in, application area can be the military or security. Then, what are the advantages and disadvantages of your school being connected to on the internet? What are those advantages? I think now you know some of the advantages. Then, number 3, state the similarity and differences between what we call an internet and then we have an intranet. I said we shall go into the discussion room to get some of this, but then remember now I'm talking about internet and then intranet. These are two different words. Then number 4, list and explain some of the services offered by the internet. What services do we get from the internet? I think during our discussion I've talked about that. Then what is a computer network? Give examples of computer networks. That is the last question there. Then we are going in for the summary. In this lesson we looked at the following types of internet connections. Again, actually we are going in the summary of the next lesson. We are going to look at the types of internet connections, how to connect to a computer to an internet using dial-up and access, dial-up access. Then we are going to see those ones. Then the internet service providers. Then the factors concerning or factors considered when choosing an internet provider. That is what we are going to look at. First, we shall look at what we call types of internet connections. If I'm moving fast, please you tell me. I'm always a fast teacher. And then you may ask your questions in the chat as we continue, but we shall, I think we shall get some 15 minutes such that we go into the discussion room and then we look at some of these types of internet connection. There are more technology. The more technology grows, the bigger and the faster internet connections come up. You have seen, actually some of you have not seen, you are on the internet which is running fast today. The internet we are having is running fast. In school here, we have changed the internet like 6 times. Why? We are trying to get a connection which is as faster as possible. Until now that we are on an internet connection which is as faster as possible. So I think it is the one which we are using for your education study. So we know that now it is good and it is faster. Then the methods of connecting to the internet are only 2. The dial-up and then what we call analog access. Dial-up here we are looking at, maybe you can look at which uses normal telephone lines or wireless connectivity, which requires no telephone. The other one, dial-up, it may use what we call wires and whatever. Then we have others which are using the wireless. The common example of the wireless type is broadband. We are going to look at this. I have a professor calling himself a professor who is outlining what we call a broadband, a high-speed internet connection. Other examples include ISDN, the DSL, cable, 3G phones today, and then the satellites we are seeing today. So we are having an example here, a connection. We are going to describe a way of connecting to the internet using analog or what we call dial-up. The basic requirement for this type of connectivity are a computer. You must have a computer. You must have a modem. But today computers come with inbuilt modems. Some of the computer, actually now the desktops and the laptops are coming with inbuilt modems. They are coming with everything. You have wireless connection to any of the spots, wireless spots around, because all the computers are coming with wireless connection. So a phone line in order to access internet, some of you are using laptops, but you are using laptops, you are getting the information of the internet from your phones. We are going to see that and how we call that connection. So, vital software, you can have a software which is helping you in order to connect to that internet, and then a contract with an ISP. A contract, we are going to see a bit of that, and then we see how we connect to an ISP. So here, this takes us to types of internet connection, and we are having I'm having to play this. This is type of internet connections. So we are going in to play this, and then we should hear whatever is happening here. So let us start.
There are many different ways to connect your home and your business to the internet, and in this video we'll look at a number of these internet connection types. A very common internet connection type in the home is a cable modem. We sometimes refer to this as broadband communication because we are sending information over many different frequencies on the same wire. This also can be different traffic types on these different frequencies, so it's not uncommon to have video, voice, and your data coming across this single cable modem connection. You may sometimes hear this cable modem connection referred to as DOCSIS, which is Data Over Cable Service Interface Specification. This is the standard that is used on cable networks to send data across to these cable modems. This is what we consider high-speed networking. These cable networks can go very high speeds. Very commonly, you'll find 4 to 250 megabits per second, but you can get up to gigabit speeds running on these cable modem connections. The cable company isn't the only one providing internet connectivity. Very commonly, your local telephone company is providing connectivity through DSL connections. This is technically ADSL, for asymmetric digital subscriber line. This uses your existing telephone lines, which makes it very easy to simply add a modem into your home and you're connected to the internet. One of the challenges you have with DSL is that you have to be somewhat close to a central office or a CO. The download speed that you're going to have will be directly proportional to how far away you are from that central office. And the limitation is somewhere around 10,000 feet, which is not an incredibly long distance when you consider how dispersed our different homes are away from these central offices. You'll generally get 52 megabits per second down and 16 megabits per second upstream, but these numbers can vary widely depending on how far away you are from the CO. As you begin to move farther away from the CO, you'll start to see these speeds get slower and slower. Another type of internet connectivity we don't see much any longer are dial-up connections. These are using our existing analog voice telephone lines and sending data communication over that connection. You'll commonly see 56 kilobits per second modems. This is significantly slower than a DSL connection or a cable modem connection, although you can compress the data a bit to get speeds up to 320 kilobits per second. Obviously, when you compare this relative to cable modem or DSL, these speeds are relatively slow, which makes using a dial-up connection difficult to scale, especially if you need to connect many different people to the internet. Although you no longer tend to find a dial-up connection at home, it's very common to use them in large enterprise environments. If you lose the connection to a remote site over a cable connection or a DSL, you might be using these traditional analog dial-up modems to provide some connectivity back to those sites. We've been using fiber in the enterprise for many years to provide internet connectivity, and we're starting to see more fiber rolled out to the home. This provides very high-speed networking and allows us to send many different services over that single fiber. So voice connectivity, our video connections, and our data can all be running over a single fiber to our house. This increase in available bandwidth also brings a number of new services. You have a lot more HD channel connectivity than you might have with a copper connected service. And this also allows you to send and transfer a lot of different types of data out to the cloud. You might also see enhanced capabilities with DVR and video capabilities using this additional bandwidth. Our internet connectivity doesn't have to be limited to connectivity on Earth. We can sometimes connect to the internet using satellites that are in space. This satellite networking allows us to communicate directly to a satellite which then sends that data to a station down on Earth and then reverses that to get the data back to us. This has, as you might expect, a relatively high cost compared to traditional terrestrial networking such as cable modem or DSL connectivity. But your speeds are pretty good. You get around 50 megabits per second down. 3 megabits per second upstream are common to find with satellite networking, but this does allow you to connect to sites that may not have the ability to connect to a cable modem or DSL connection, and you're able to be in a remote site or somewhere far away from the central office and still have relatively high-speed internet connectivity. There are a number of challenges with satellite networking. One of these is that you have a relatively high latency. It does take time to get that data up to a satellite and then back down to Earth. So if you have an application that requires a very low amount of latency, this may not be the type of connectivity you'd like. Those of you that have satellite connections for your television at home know that the other problem with this type of connectivity is when it rains. If you have a very heavy thunderstorm, that rain coming down can block this 2 gigahertz signal from going from your dish out to that satellite connection. So while this storm is going on outside, you won't have any type of internet connectivity. An older style of internet connectivity, which still has some limited functionality in today's markets, is ISDN. It stands for Integrated Services Digital Network. There are two different types of ISDN you might find. One is what we call an ISDN Basic Rate Interface, or BRI. You'll sometimes hear this referred to as a 2B plus D. This is referring to the two bearer channels, which are actually sending data over these ISDN connections, and the single signaling channel, or D channel. These two bearer channels are 64 kilobits. So we're not talking about high-speed connectivity that you might have with cable modem or DSL, but this is certainly better than using a dial-up connection. The signaling channel, or D channel, which is a 16 kilobit per second channel when you're working with BRI, is managing all of the communication over this connection. So it sets up the connection, it tears down the connection, and sends any management information while the call is going on. A larger scale ISDN is the primary rate interface ISDN, or a PRI. This is usually delivered over a T1 or E1 connection, depending on what country you're in. And a T1 connection supports 23 bearer channels and a signaling channel, and E1 supports 30 bearer channels, a signaling channel, and a separate alarm channel. Although you can certainly use these very large bearer channels to send internet connectivity over a PRI, it's also common to see PRI used as voice channels that are coming from your public switched telephone network, that's your local telephone company, and connecting to a private branch exchange or a local phone system inside of your company. If you're not converting over to voice over IP, you may be using some of these legacy ISDN connections to provide all of your voice communication. Modern cellular networks allow us to have internet connectivity from practically anywhere. We now have a mobile phone that allows us to have both voice and data access simultaneously. These cellular networks have many different antennas set up in a geographical area where the land is separated into cells. That's where the idea of a cellular network comes from. And our mobile devices use these antennas to be able to communicate back and forth to the internet. Not only do our mobile phones have internet connectivity, but we can connect a wire from a laptop to our mobile phone and provide the laptop with the internet connectivity as well. That's called tethering. And if you're connecting many devices to your mobile phone over 802.11 wireless connectivity, you're effectively turning your phone into a mobile hotspot. This way, anyone in your local area is able to use your internet connectivity on your phone to provide internet access for all of your devices. In your metropolitan area, you may have the option of a line-of-sight internet service. This is a wireless internet service that's able to provide access over a very wide geographical area. This is a line-of-sight communication, so there's usually antennas placed very high that are able to communicate to many different homes simultaneously in one geographical area. There are also options for non-line-of-sight. This would usually be slower speeds using lower frequencies. And a very common type of line-of-sight service is WiMAX. This is the worldwide interoperability for microwave access. This provides wireless high-speed internet connectivity by simply putting an antenna outside of your house and accessing those WiMAX antennas in your area.
Yes, that is the video you have listened. You have been listening to the communication from the professor. And now I want to ask a few questions. Maybe I will start with cellular networks. How do we connect internet from a cellular network to a laptop? How do you connect internet from a cellular network to a laptop? You have been hearing. How do you connect internet from a cellular network to a laptop? Can we have a bit of discussion? But then let me reserve those questions. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Let me teach for another 10 or so minutes. Then we go into the discussion room and then we discuss. Now, when you are getting what we call internet, there are some aspects or there are some gadgets you need to have. And one of the gadgets is you choose a computer. A computer that will be able to support the software that you would like to install. Some of us have model, we call them model zamani. Those are very old models. Your parents have kept them safely. When he gives you a laptop, he knows that he's giving you a laptop. But then when you look at it, his model zamani, it is a very old model. Isota, you are saying using tethering or hotspot through mobile hotspot, that is Yusuf. Then Kasule, it can be via wireless connection, either hotspot or Bluetooth. Thank you for those for that contribution. I was saying that you have to get a computer which is very good. Now today we are talking about computers, but then we are going to see what special features of a computer can we talk about. So this computer should be fast enough in handling different tasks. There is a computer where if you are going for a lesson, you have to prepare yourself maybe 30 minutes ago or 1 hour, such that it goes on, it takes 20 minutes to go on. So those I'm saying, those are model zamani, they are very old computers. So this computer should also support the relevant hardware parts needed in networking, e.g. the NIC, that is the network interface card, then the modem, which is modulation, and then demodulation. Then the hardware should also be easy to upgrade in case of any change in technology. You can insert a new processor, you can insert new RAM, you can insert to upgrade your computer. So that one can be another other specifications which you can upgrade. Then we have the modem. This converts your digital computer information into analog telephone signals. When it is in my computer here, I have it in digital form. As it is being transmitted to where you are, the computer is moving, the information is moving in analog. When it reaches your computer, it changes to digital. Your computer has an inbuilt modem which is used in order to change from digital, from analog back to digital form. Isota, you are obsessed with 5G. Isota, after what we call WireMax, as the professor was explaining, after WireMax, what came in, it was 2G. 2G was 2 generation. Then we went to 3G. Today, they are talking about 5 generation. What you have to know, one, that because you are saying, what about 5 generation? When you look at, some of you when you go to buy, and you buy a SIM card which is 3G, others have what? You have 4G. Now, those SIM cards actually, as you are sending information, a 3G has a difference to a 4G. Actually, in some areas, you may find that A 4G can capture network, but a 3D cannot capture network in some of those areas. The other aspect is sending of information when it comes to the 5G is faster. Actually, we are looking at how fast information can be sent, and that is what I'm talking about. So 5G, we are looking at information, dissemination of information in a very, very fast way. Because let me tell you one thing. I don't know what kind of generations, because everybody is using a different computer here. But as I speak to you, there is a lapse of time for whatever I'm telling you now. There is a lapse of time which is information is taking in order to reach you people. As I scroll down here, it takes around some 1 or towards 1 minute, such that we change over. I change over information. When I change, it takes almost a minute to reach you. So that is the difference. I'm saying that when you have a 5G, you are going to get information faster than me. I may be sending information to every person who has a phone. A 5G will receive information quickly than a 4G. So we are looking at upgrades in what we call information speeds. And then one, the pictures, the picture which are portrayed, then how information is portrayed when it comes to you. We are looking at that when it comes to development of what we call upgrading from one level to another. Actually, you are prompting me to talk about 5G here. Actually, I should talk about 5G here. But then there is what we call trends in computing. That is the last topic. In the last topic, we are going to look at those ones. We are going to look at artificial intelligence. We are going to look at the 2G. We are going to look at 3G. And then up to where we are, which is 5G. So, ensure that everything you get will be upgradable. That one, I have talked about it. Then, many manufacturers now build them, the modems inside the computers. Now, when you look at our phones, they have what we call modems, because it can receive and then send information over the internet. That means the modem is inbuilt inside this gadget. So we have an inbuilt modem here. When you are typing here, it is in digital form. When you send it, it changes from your phone, it changes, and then it is sent as it is in analog. When it reaches somebody's phone to whom you are sending, the modem in the phone changes it from analog to back to digital form. And that is what I'm talking about. That all, whatever is manufactured today, it has what we call inbuilt modems. Then the other aspect you are seeing, a phone line. You know that some of your parents have been forced to buy phone lines in their name, because when you have to buy a phone line, you have to register. You have to register that phone line in your name. And that is what we are looking at now. So this may be your biggest expense after purchasing the equipment. You buy a phone line. But you know, in Uganda, phone lines that are 2,000, it depends. But then we have got now Leica. Is it Leica? They are buying those lines at expensively. Some at 20,000, others 20. It depends on who is selling you. But why are you buying it expensively? Because there is data. There is over 20 GB on the phone. Others get 20 GB, others get 50 GB, depending on which line you are buying. So, because of the data, then they sell it expensively these days. Now, we go in and look at examples of ISP in Uganda. Can we get tell me some of the ISP? Bossa, rumors have it that it causes cancer. Is it true? Bossa, the effectiveness of all communication devices. Even when you look at my office here, at times I was sitting far away, the other end, but I decided to change to the window. Why? I was getting some effects which I don't know. Maybe headache, maybe whatever, because at times the server is making a lot of noise. So I don't know which rays are passing through me, but I'll take you through that, and then you see that all the gadgets we are using have rays which are unseenable, which can be an effect all our lives. And actually, when you see and look at those people who are near masts, what we call mirongoti today, they have effects. There are a lot of abortions around those milongoti. That is one of the effects actually. Milongoti. There are a lot of abortions around those milongoti. Headaches. People have a lot of headache in those areas. But at times, they brought all those masts and then they were fixed in residential areas. People are not minding about them, but they have an effect. Can we look at some of the examples of ISP, Internet Service Providers in Uganda today? Examples, contributions, ISPs, ISPs, Internet Service Provider. Bagampadde, Bagenda, you are very quiet. Bossa, examples of ISP. Can we have some? Kasozi, Tendo, Isota, Airtel, that is one. Another ISP. Yes. We have MTN. MTN in full is what? Kasule. You have said MTN. MTN in full. Kebirungi, another one. Namanje, you have said Africell, that is good. Isota, you said Vodafone. MTN in full is what? Smile is another one. Rock Telecom, good. Yusuf, you have said MTN. What is MTN in full? Other examples, like a mobile. That is another one. It is in Union Market. It is trying to market. Wanga, you are quiet. But today, can I hear from you? Bossa, you have said Africell. That is good. Simbanet, Simba Telecom. We had it. Yes, please. Dava Koza Sumaya. Wyatt. Bossa, UTL in full, it's what? Mujira, you said, Arafat, you said Telecom only, and then you stopped there. Like a mobile Kasozi, I said MTN is what? In full. You're looking at those ones. As I go in. It is mobile telephone network, that is good, Yusuf. Then what else? So we have some of these examples. Sumaya, you are on and quiet. Please, I want to hear from you. Najuma Fatuma, you are on and quiet. Then others. So we are looking at some of them. We have MTN, which is the mobile telephone network. Then you have Uganda Telecom Limited. We have Airtel. We have Afsat Communication. We had Afsat actually here in Chibuli at one time. When you look at that old dish, there is an old dish we have here. It was from Afsat. Then we have Africell, we have Infocom, we have Bushinet. So there are so many. Uganda Telecom Limited, that is Masokoi, that is okay. Then we still have UTL, Uganda Telecom Limited actually. That is what Masokoi is giving us. So those are what we call internet service providers. Then again, after that, we require what we call software. And the software here we are looking at, the computer cannot communicate with the modem without installation of software. The internet has to be, the moment you should have software which is helping you in order to network the computers. So here we have what we call browser software. Is also required to be installed for the computer to view web pages. And some of the common browsers we have Microsoft Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator, we have Mozilla Firefox, we have Microsoft Edge. Which other can we talk about? Which is the other one which we can talk about? Another what? Browser we can talk about there. Then the version of your software should be up to date. iPhone is using which browser software? iPhone is using which browser software? Those online, and you give me the answer. Zahara, Nabachwa, you are also on. Teacher, what is the meaning? Somebody is saying access points names. What is the meaning of APN? Bagapa, they have given me Google Chrome, Kasule, Opera. Yusuf, thank you for that. iPhone is using Safari. iPhone uses Safari as a browser in order to connect to the internet. So some of you they will give you a phone. It is from iPhone. Then you don't know it. Then Kabega, you have said Microsoft Edge. That is for Windows 10 and above. We are using Microsoft Edge. So the version of your software should be up to date for your computer to view all the websites. Then internet services. An internet service provider is the company that takes care of technical aspects of connecting your computer to the internet or connecting your phone to the internet. That one we call it an internet service provider. We have our phone companies are internet service providers because they help us in order to connect us to the internet. So always check and understand the terms and conditions of your ISP before making a contract. Usually we make contracts with what we call ISP. ISP is Internet Service Provider. So before you choose an Internet Service Provider, you have to make sure that the terms and conditions in what we call a contract are understandable and they give you an upper hand. Some ISPs are very expensive, but you can buy a few hours per month at a cheaper cost. We have seen now people are running away from all these ones. Everybody is buying a Leica mobile. Such that because they have data which is what? Cheaper. They are running away. And actually you will see that MTN, after MTN understanding, MTN and Airtel, understanding that Leica mobile is taking a portion of the market, these people are going, their internet service is going to come down. Their costs are going to come down. You wait. Because Leica mobile, when you look at actually the very disadvantage which it has a very low network coverage around the country. But if it had some good network coverage around the country, within just this year, at the end of the year, you'll hear MTN and Airtel sweating plasma. Then you'll feel that they are changing some of the tariffs such that we get some cheaper tariffs. And that is the other problem. So that is about internet service provider. Factors considered when choosing ISP. So the choice of an ISP service, the internet service provider. Some of you have two lines in your phone, but there is one which you prefer. iPhone's main browser is Safari. Yes, Kasozi, yes, we have talked about that. Then we have said that the key deciding factor should be service quality and the ability to alter the package to a later date to meet your developing needs. For example, some of you are using MTN. Why? Because there is a work from home package. A work from home package, you buy 1 GB at 2,000 shillings. Others are using are using what? Airtel. Others today are using, those who are near Kampala, I think most of you are trying to connect to Leica mobile. Because you can buy 20 GB at a very cheaper price and you use the 20 GB for a month. If you can be very limited to your mobile needs. Because after here some of you go and watch movies and watch whatever, but if you are limited to lessons, you can use that data for almost a month. Teacher, what's wrong with my Leica line? Because it can't access the internet. Okay, Bossa, you are saying what is wrong with your Leica line? I have a teacher here called Akram. He's working in Leica mobile. I think you have his phone number. Please contact him because he's working in that business now. Here are some of the factors to consider to help you to choose the right service mobile service provider for you. I'm going to talk about one and then we go into the chat room. Our time is running short. I'm going to talk about two. Now, availability. There are some mobile companies, when you get to the internet, actually when you go onto wireless, at times you reach some places when you don't have the internet. So you should check the services of your ISP, because not all services are available in all locations. That is what I said, that when it comes to like a mobile, in some locations there are no masts, and then you cannot receive such a service. And then Bossa, maybe you may have that internet, you are saying it can't access. I don't know which area you are in. It can be another problem. Then, Bagampa Deumal, you said I did not insert an APN. APN, I will explain that, Bagampa. Then, the speed of performance, that is the performance of what we call the speed at which you receive in messages, actually. Because when you type in www. I will give you an example, those who are supporters of Arsenal, www.arsenal.com, you should get a website coming in very fast. When it comes in very slow, you know that the problem is on your service, the mobile service provider. So you need a service provider who can give you internet which is very fast. I'm requesting that we go into the discussion room, and then we discuss. We shall continue from there. Let us discuss. I have some questions to ask you. Can we move into the discussion room now? I'm requesting that we do that. Let us move into the discussion room. Then we have some discussion from whatever we have been covering, and then more interaction. Discussion room, it is like Zoom. Please, can you click discussion room, then you type in your name, then you enter into the discussion room. I'm entering the discussion room. Can I have you there? Can I have you there in the discussion room? Discussion room, please. Bagampa, they don't know how to access the discussion room. Can you access the discussion room? Look down after the class. There is a discussion room down. After the class, the discussion room is there. Type your name and then you click join. And then you join the discussion room. Isota, you have failed. I'm not seeing you there. Kasozi Tendo, Jibril, I'm not seeing you there. I'm waiting for you in the discussion room. We discuss. Okay, I'm starting to see some people there. Bossa is there. Bossa, Bagampade, you are in now. Bagampade, I'm seeing you in. Bagampade. Bagampade, can I see you? Can you turn on your camera? I said this is an interaction which actually is like Zoom. Can you try to turn on your camera such that others can see that? Bagampade? Nachanzi, Zahara, can you enter the discussion room? Look at the lesson, down at the lesson there is a discussion room. Yes. Bagampa, the option is there. Bagampa, I'm turning on. Are you seeing me turning on? Can you see me? I've turned on my video. Okay, Bagampa, they talk. Can you turn on the microphone? Bagampade, can you explain to us how you can connect a computer? Yes, Bagampade? Those who have joined, teacher mine is refusing. Okay, Isota, you turn on your microphone and tell us how you can connect a computer. You remember the professor talked about cell phone networks. How do you connect a computer? How do you connect your laptop onto a network using a cellular network? Isota, it is Chrome which is most effective. Okay. You're saying you cannot see me. For me, I have turned on. I have another camera here. Let me turn on the camera. Then you can see me now. Can see me in class. So it was seeing the board. Discussion. Both I were in. Who is Boo Boo? Can we discuss? Bagampa, they were in. Bagampa, they turn on your microphone. Turn on, it's like Zoom. You click to turn on your microphone and talk. Yes? No. I'm done connecting, but I'm the only one. No. Maybe you have connected in the Senior 5 discussion room. Can you go back and see the Senior 3 discussion room? That is where you're connecting to. Yes. Can I hear from Bagampade? Bagampade, turn on your microphone. It's like Zoom. You go and click where your microphone is. Yes, Mugera. Mugera, can I hear from you? Who can talk? And somebody is laughing. That is indiscipline, Vanai. Can I hear Bagampade? Mugera, you have switched on your microphone and you are laughing. I was asking a question, how can you connect a cellular network onto your laptop? That is the question. Arafat?
Yes, Chair.
Let me hear from you. Now you have a phone, you have your phone, you have a laptop. How can you connect the network?
Teacher.
Arafat, switch on your video. Let the members see you.
Use the mobile hotspot.
You use a mobile hotspot. How? Arafat, how? Please, find it. Explain to us. We need to know.
Yeah.
Yes. Masokoi. Masokoi, you have something to say? Can you talk to us? Masokoi, talk to us. Yes. Masokoi, we are waiting for you. You have turned on the mic. Masokoi, you have turned on the mic. Can you talk to us? Yes, please. Chibira. Chibira, can you help Masokoi? Chibira, we should learn using this platform and then we should discuss. We have been discussing over the chat room. Now we are here. Masota David. Masokoi is quiet. He's not saying anything. Chizito. Jibril. Jibril. Jibril, can I hear from you? People are shy and I'm wondering. Yes. Jibril, I'm seeing you. You have switched on the camera. That is good. But I'm seeing just a small bit of you. Jibril? Yes? I'm going to close the chat. People are not discussing. I wanted us to discuss. This should be two-way. Yes. Yes, you are back.
Yes, teacher.
Jibril, we are talking about how we connect a computer. You have a phone.
Teacher.
Then, if you have a phone, how do you interconnect? How do you get internet onto your laptop? Yes, we are waiting for you.
You can use the mobile.
You can use the mobile phone. On the mobile phone, what do we do with the mobile phone in order to receive?
You can use the mobile hotspot.
So we go to networks. Some of you may not be seeing what we can go through. So what we do, we go to networks. You click the settings. After clicking the settings, then you click network and internet. You click where there is network and internet. When you click where there is network and internet, then there is what we call Wi-Fi direct or Wi-Fi. Then down here there is hotspot and tethering. Where there is hotspot and tethering, then you click a hotspot. Then you go on and click wireless hotspot. When you click wireless hotspot, you click and create a hotspot there. You give it a name. So you can give your hotspot a name. Otherwise, it's going to use the default name for your computer. Then, after which you give it a password. When you give it a password, you use this hotspot in order to connect to the internet. Then that is one. Then the professor, when he was talking about broadband. And he talked about the dial-up. What were the advantages of a dial-up voice over telephone? Advantages of a dial-up. Kasozi? Isota?
Discussion room.
Yes, we are in the, yes, we are in the discussion room, but now everybody is shying away. Huh? So we are trying the discussion room, and then we want to use the discussion rooms more efficiently and closely. So teachers are going to start using the discussion room. I wanted to test it, and you should tell others how to use the discussion room. It is like WhatsApp. Yes. Kasozi, you are back. We are looking at the advantages of dial-up. Kasozi, you are hiding your face. What is the problem? Huh? Arafat, can we hear from you? No mic, no whatever. You are very quiet and you are in the discussion room. Yes. At least we can see Arafat now.
Morning, teacher.
Arafat, you have disappeared.
I'm around right now.
Yes.
So, you know.
We are looking at the advantages and the disadvantage. Actually, you are going to look up that clip of the professor and see how he was talking about the digital subscriber line, the modem, then the DSL, then the broadband, the dial-up, up to when he went to satellite. What are the advantages of satellite? And what disadvantages did we see of satellite? Who can give me just one advantage of a satellite? Chibira, what was the disadvantage of a satellite? Chibira oli mukamoli. Yes, Isota.
Teacher.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Of satellite, just in case of bad weather,
Yes.
it cannot connect to the internet.
Yes, you are seeing that one even is affected. When you are watching football and then there is rain which is coming up, you are seeing because we are using satellite, again, that is an effect of data. It's an effect on data. That is another one. But what were the advantages, the strong advantages for satellite? Because he talked about the strong advantages for satellite. Yes? Yes, please.
Satellite is faster since it transmits messages directly from the satellite to your phone. And
that is a good contribution. So I want you to watch that clip. But we are going to get used to having the discussion room. Because in the discussion room, I can even share my screen. You remember that I've been sharing my screen, but when I click here in the discussion room, I can go in and then I look at the windows and then I can share my screen here and then you can have, are you seeing my screen?
yes.
That is, we can have our lesson in the what? In the discussion room. So we want people to get into the discussion room such that we can have our lessons there. I'm begging to stop there. Please look at the notes we have. I have not completed. Maybe we shall complete next time. I beg to stop here. I'm leaving the discussion room and I'm signing out of the lesson. You should have a nice day. Let us stop here for today.